Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Here we go. Here we go. Boom, boom. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Childish, coming back with a new episode, a new thing, a new series. Are you ready for this? Let's get it. So I think I'm going to call this series Underrated and Overlooked. And as you might have guessed, this is going to be an episode or a series basically focusing on some of the units that we take for granted and really don't choose to utilize them, which is surprising to me. But it just kind of all depends on what's available for us to get, what's farmable, what's fusible, so on and so forth. So today, we're just going to be focusing on one unit and one unit alone. And as you already know by the title, that's going to be our homegirl, Miss Mikene. Yeah, buddy. Where'd she be hiding? Right there. There we go. So, Miss Mikene, let's go ahead and just go over her abilities real quick, and then I'll kind of talk about why I'm showcasing this. So, we got an ice drop, attacks the enemy with a small piece of ice, freezing the target if it lands a critical hit. Attacks all enemies with a swirling water hurricane, and recovers the ally with the lowest HP by 20%. And then you got reviving a dead ally with 40 HP. And of course, we got this defense boost, but that's not the real kick. So the real kick is there is only a handful of units. To my knowledge, the Wind Death Knight, the Water Undine, and the Light EP1 Priest that are 4-star reviving units. And what's the difference between some of the 4 stars units, reviving units with relation to the 3-star, 2-star, their counterparts there, so on. Each of the revives are just basically overall just stronger than your typical 3-star units. Typically speaking, most revives that you're going to see in the game are going to have, a 15 to 20% heal with an additional, heal over time by 15%. Okay? So while that's good and all on paper, chances are if you're in a situation where you have to use a unit to revive, you're going to be facing some pretty strong opponents. So you're going to need something with a little bit more kick or something that can even the playing field out, right away. So of course, units like the Brienne here, the Wind Death Knight that has the ability to even out the ratio. The EP1 Priest, wherever she's hiding, has the ability to revive with a 60% hit point increase and defense, beast mode. And then last but not least, Mikene, who has a 40% hit point increase. Okay, so as good as all the other ones are, I'm going to talk a bit about Mikene today because she is one of the strongest healers in my book. Not really just for the fact that she, has so many cool abilities, but the fact that everybody, and I mean everybody, can get this unit. Okay, this will be the first unit that I will be attempting to fuse. Okay, why is that? Because, well, currently I do have a revive unit, but I want something a little bit better. In addition, in my opinion, this is one of the only healers that provides a nice, well-rounded, balance of utility that I think is strong enough to be utilized in a situation that I need. Okay, every unit is situational, right? But this one has so many cool things about it that we can really capitalize on. So, like we said, actually we can't even show it here, so I'll go back to the right here. So, like we said, freezing a target if you land a critical hit. So, in this particular attack, when it's awakened, the opportunity to critically hit somebody, it's obviously going to be based on a personal stat, your personal amount of critical rate. It's not going to be based on, it's not going to be primarily based on accuracy of you or the resistance of the opponent. Your critical hit, your critical rate is going to play a vital role, with addition to accuracy resistance of the unit to critting. So obviously, you're going to have an easier time critting somebody of a neutral element or a weaker element versus somebody like a wind element. That being said, because you have the opportunity to control the amount of critical rate you have, having an additional stun as a primary attack is stupid strong. All right? Huge. Okay? Second attack. Attacks all enemies with a swirling water hurricane and recovers the ally with lowest HP by 20%. So, a nice fail-safe device, right? A nice way of attacking all the enemies, which in reality is a healer, right? We're not sitting here trying to do damage, but it has a little heal on top, okay? And why do I make a very strong, point about this? Depending on how you decide to rune it, this attack can definitely, allow you to, emphasize more on the crowd control, okay? Obviously with the despair set. Then you got the revive, and a revive is going to be straight up revive, 40% hit point, not no heal over time or whatever, and that 40% hit point, depending on what unit you're rezzing, might be the make or break opportunity for you to get an additional heal from another unit that you might have a healer, or from this unit itself, and get the opportunity to get them up and ready to fight right away. So again, really, really amazing unit, and the reason why this is going to be my first one for the episode is because everybody can get it. All of you can get it. It just comes down to obviously, summoning them, taking a look at the units, at the pieces, leveling them up and whatnot. And of course, if it takes you a while, yes, that's okay. That's understandable. It sucks, but we got nothing but time. So I say go for it. Okay, so let's talk rune specs here. Rune specs. Okay, it's a healer. It's a healer hybrid. Crowd controller. I mean, it does it all, right? Small heal, stun, and a revive. So obviously, there's going to be components of a speed factor that we're going to want in to allow this unit to go multiple times, quicker than most, so he can get his main skills up when needed. We got a concept of despair here that you can emphasize to not only take advantage of this particular attack, stunning, but an AoE attack for a stun. Okay, and then you got reason to incorporate not only a high amount of critical rate within the substats of all your runes, or maximizing it from the force slot of your rune, because the force slot you can get critical rate, depending on how you go about it, many ways. But you can do a multitude of things. So there's no real wrong way to build this one up. The only thing I recommend at the end of the day is making sure that this unit is beefy enough to hang, with whatever you're trying to do. Obviously, a support unit is going to be doing no good if you're sitting at like 10k hit points at 5-star max. Okay, this unit needs to have some hit points to take those hits, and some resistances to basically get past those stuns, get past those sleeps, or whatever other hostile effects that they'll put on to basically negate his abilities. So recommendations. Like I said, I like hit points. I like hit point percentages. Depending on how much, how good your hit point percentage runes, you can, and how much substats you can get from hit point percentages. You can make reason for the critical rate. You can make reason for the despair. So we'll go ahead and just throw many examples out there. So first starting out, if you first get it and you're really new to the game, energy across the board. I like it. Energy across the board. Getting those hit points up, maybe hit points on 2 and 4. And then, either resistance on 6, unless you can get some good resistance from the other stats. Or energy across the board, hit point percentage on 2, critical rate on 4, hit point percentage on 6. Okay? And again, this is kind of the starter kind of set or whatever. And then we're starting to move into the mid to late game. We can incorporate a despair set, right? Because a despair set will also provide an ability to stun with the first attack and the AoE. So that, obviously, this will make it very viable for not only just regular dungeons, but Trial of Ascension, where you need a lot of AoE crowd control to get by. You can pair this with a despair. And again, do the same thing where you're doing hit point res, or hit point crit rate, hit point crit rate hit point, or a speed hit point. I like speed hit point. Again, we're trying to get the most opportunities to go go again. Would I use Swift? It could be an option, but I prefer, if we're talking about the mid game, I prefer that to provide a little bit more utility and maybe go that despair route over the Swift. All are viable options, but again, just trying to get you to think outside the box here. Okay. And then, late stages of the game, I like a violent set, and I would go violent set with speed on 2, hit points on 4, and hit points on 6, if and only if you can get your crit rate relatively high with the substats of your runes. Okay, relatively high. If you can get it relatively high, then I would say, go that route. But if not, with the violent set, take it with the hit point, crit rate, hit point, if you want to go that route. Okay. Remember, these are just recommendations based on my speculations, right, or what I believe is work. I do not have the unit. I'm just thinking outside the box with what is available. Okay. For the primary sets. So primary sets, ranking them from top to bottom. I like the violent. I like the despair. I like the all-out energy, just to help out with the hit points of your beginner sages. And then, last but not least, you could probably throw in the Swift if you don't have anything better. But as far as subsets go, the only one that would make sense to all of them can make sense. You can use, have reason for pretty much anyone, energy, focus, whatever the case. But the ones that I like the most would be energy for the extra hit points, or revenge. And the revenge, obviously, because if you get an opportunity to counterattack with a high amount of critical rate, you're going to get yourself some free stuns. If you have the opportunity to counterattack with a despair stat, you're going to get some free stuns. Okay? And again, crowd control is everything. So for those people that are struggling with Tower of Ascension or Trial of Ascension and need some more crowd control but don't want to sacrifice their crowd control because they need heals, boom, got them. Here we go. Save that stuff. Get this unit. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. I like Violent. I like Despair. I like All Energy. I like Revenge. I'm not a fan of Nemesis. I'm not a fan of the defense here. I think its defense relatively is good, as far as the guard runes. But at the end of the day, hit point, crit rate, hit point, or speed, hit point, or hit point resistance. If you need a little bit more resistance and you don't got a lot of subside, as long as those percentages that I'm indicating for the 246 slot are there, you can make a justification for any rune set, right? But at the end of the day, if you have the opportunity to have a high crit rate and freeze every time you hit, then you bet your ass I'm going to recommend that Violent set. Okay, Violent is like the end-all, be-all for pretty much every situation. So in this scenario, I like it better than not. Violent, Despair, really darn close. But I like the Violent just because, reviving abilities are very, very high in turn reusables, anywhere from 6 to 8. I think one unit has 9. 6 to 8, somewhere around there. But to have an opportunity to, get an additional turn and let this cool down a little bit quicker, very, very important, especially in Trial of Ascension where anything can happen at any time, at any given time. So I hope you guys like that. I didn't want to get too crazy with the first one. I have myself a nice handful of units that I'm going to be talking about over the course of the next month or two. We're going to try to incorporate this once a week for the time being, until I see fit otherwise to go and add them. If some random new unit comes out that's farmable, whatnot, then I'm going to go and put it out there. I will, but until that time, I'll just kind of provide the information that I want. So obviously the emphasis is going to be on the underrated units that are somewhat accessible. So maybe they're a 3-star summon, or maybe they're a 2-star farmable unit, or they're a fusible unit that comes out available. Okay, so of course, we can make reason for, the Undine, the Beretta, depending on what you need. But right now, my focus is the Water Undine. So if you don't have a good revive unit, or if you don't have any revive unit, but you're trying to move in the Trial of Ascensions in the late stages, and you can't get that hybrid of crowd control and heals on the same team, you can't fit it all in because you just don't have enough units that mesh, then I'm going to recommend this unit for you. So jump at it, take a look. We got the Wind Inferno, we got the Water Grim Reaper, we got the Water Garuda. I see Garuda right there, right? Fail. But it's not the Garuda, it's the Bearman. And then we got the Fire Imp, which of course is a 2-star unit you can find in the magic shop. So really you only got to farm 3 units, realistically. So yeah. That is pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please show your support by smashing that like button down below. I'm loving these new episodes, but I got to get the feedback from you. I got to know that this is what you like, this is what you want, and I'm going to keep at it, giving you what you need. I know what you need, so I'm going to give you what you need. It's your boy Childish with ChildishPlays. Check it out. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Yeah.